Welcome back, True Seeker. Monday, December 23rd, 2024, the last day of Saturnalia. The big news story, ethics panel finds Matt Gaetz spent thousands on sex and drugs while a member of Congress, including having sex with a 17-year-old in 2017 who he paid. And Matt Gaetz has responded by saying, listen, I used to party a lot. I never paid for sex, but I used to pay girls I had sex with. Like, oh man, this guy was cut out for politics. But yeah, look at this out. Look how perfect it is. Look how perfect it is. All right, so this guy was born May 7th, 1982, was Slick Willie over here. He never paid for sex. He just pays the girls he has sex with. It's a tip. But notice, from his birthday to today's findings, it's 511 months and 17 days. I might have just misspoke. From the day he was born until today is 511 months and 17 days. Again, the big headliners that he had sex with a 17-year-old in 2017, the year he became a member of the federal Congress. But Saturn has this gematria value of 511 in the Jewish, which Derek renamed Latin. We talked about this number so many times. Yesterday, the Jets were pretty much lock city to lose to the Rams and fall to 5-11 against them all time. More importantly than that, when Trump had his 2015-2016 campaign, it went exactly 511 days. And remember, Saturn is super important to the occult. Saturn is known as the dark sun. It's the keeper of time. Saturn's also related to death and judgment. In this case, it's obviously judgment, and it is a ritual in time. But again, the Jewish Gematria cipher, which again, Derek's renamed Latin, Saturn is 511. Been plenty of 511 rituals over the years. Now, in the base ciphers, Saturn does have a value of 42, and that's how old Matt Gaetz is. Matt Gaetz is 42, so Saturn has this connection to the number 511 as well as 42. This comes on the last day of Saturnalia, which equates to 35. We saw what they just did to poor Ricky, who came up in the MLB wearing 35. But Matt Gaetz was 35 years old in 2017, the year that most of the findings stem back to. He became a member of Congress, spent lots of money on women and drugs. He wasn't paying for sex, he was just tipping them. Oh, man, these people in Washington that we allow to rule over us. And occasionally they got to drag one out by the ear like Matt Gaetz to make it look like they keep him in line. Please, they're all doing this to us. This is a Saturnalia special right here to make it seem like there's some layer of legitimacy in the district of criminals. You got the proud pussy grabber about to step back into his throne who wants to have sex with his own daughter. Gross. People voted for this man. One nation under a coma. Anyhow, with regards to him being 42 right now, Matt Gaetz, again, he was 35 in 2017. Now he's 42. And 17 years old in 2017 being the top headline. House Ethics Report finds evidence Matt Gaetz paid thousands for sex and drugs, including paying a 17-year-old for sex in 2017. Again, in light of him being 42 and all this 17, Freemason, Gematria 42, Mason, Gematria 17, modern Freemasonry created in the year 1717, 59 years before this nation was created by Masons, and 59 is the 17th prime number. And again, if you're new here, Freemasonry is based in Kabbalah, which is based or heavily connected to the Jewish Old Testament. And the God of the Jewish Old Testament, most people do think it is Saturn. Saturn is the, if you look into what the Bible is, truly Astro-theology, which should be super obvious with the New Testament. It's amazing how many people want to argue that it's not when it's super obvious it is. The Son of God. Thanks to the Catholic Church, who celebrates the Son's birthday on the same day they celebrate Jesus' birthday, 12/25. But again, a lot of people contend that the God of the Old Testament is Saturn. Again, Freemasonry is based in Kabbalah. Kabbalah connected to the Old Testament. Logically, you can see how all these things go together. This picture of Matt Gaetz right here, this looks like a man who was on a bender, doesn't it? Look at those eyes. Who knows what's flowing through that body? He's got a wife who's 30 right now. Saturn has a 30-year return. A little bit younger than him. And her name sounds like that you might find at the strip club. Maybe on the porn set, Ginger Lucky. Ginger Lucky. Not so lucky to be with this one, huh? Notice the 4-base ciphers of Ginger Lucky. It's almost a perfect match with Washington, D.C. and everyone. Imagine this is another one of these arranged marriages. And again, Matt Gaetz stepped down from Congress on November 13th. He thought he was going to become the Attorney General. From that day to the statutory rape finding today, 40 days later, rape equates to 40. It's also 5 weeks and 5 days later. Statutory rape equates to 55. And for the record, rape also has the 23 value since here we are on the 23rd of the month. Again, if you're new here, the 4-base ciphers of the English language, the alphabetic order, the reverse alphabetic order, and both orders with numerology applied. Again, learn these 4-base ciphers, see through the ritualism every day. In the Jewish, or we'll now call it the Latin cipher to appease Derek. And again, it's funny because Gematrix used to call it Jewish Gematria too, and they renamed it Hebrew Gematria. So there must be, maybe, I don't know if the... what do they call that thing? The ADL, maybe the ADL came a knock and they said, we don't like you calling that cipher Jewish Gematria, rename it. You just never know. But again, occasionally there's some very important numerical values in this cipher as well. But you can see this thing is purely Saturnalia, purely Masonic, purely Kabbalistic, and this kind of stuff goes on year-round in DC. Saturn, the keeper of time. Matt Gaetz' number up. Another criminal congressman in the District of Criminals. Again, if you missed the whole rigged show for how we just got the 48th United Congress, or United Government, of all time on the day, leaving 48 days left in the year after the race that came down to Arizona, the 48th state. Again, it's a reminder that all of these people who are installed are puppets on strings. They're not elected, they're selected. Doesn't matter who votes, it only matters who counts the votes. And again, it's big money that props all these people up onto the world stage anyway. And I think they purposely put a lot of bad apples in there and people that they can keep on strings because they have some blackmail on them. You know, like, you're lucky, Matt, that we only told them about the 17-year-old. You know, there were a few other girls that were quite a bit younger, Matt, so be glad we only dropped the 17 today, ritualistically. Anyhow, we'll leave it there for now. Again, wake up to the knowledge and see through the headlines every single day. That's not a false statement. I mean, for all you guys who doubt this is going on, learn the knowledge, read about where it came from, and pay attention to what goes on every single day. The final vote for Congress was on the 3rd of December, or the final race ended on the 3rd of December after Trump got 312 electoral college votes. After Kamala had her convention in the DNC and the convention in Chicago, the 312. Oprah land, Obama land, all people connected to this election. But again, that set Trump up with 220 Republicans in the House, like Donald John Trump equals 220. Like how Inauguration Day is 220 days from Trump's birthday. Like how RFK dropped out of the race 220 days from his own birthday and endorsed Trump, etc., etc. Yeah, anyhow, we'll leave it there for now. And until next time, Truth Seeker.